These are the top 5 exotics per class. This is my list, so obviously I cannot pick every single exotic in the game as I only have 5 slots. These are the exotics that I find the most fun, or the exotics that I find the best just to use in any kind of content. At number 5, we have Shards of Galanor. This is the easiest one I can shout out for any sort of high-end PvE players out there because it allows you to get your supers back incredibly fast, and not only that, your super now does more damage with the final update. Essentially, they made it to where hitting a single target with most of the Blade Barrage knives causes a giant violent solar explosion, and this explosion does a lot of damage, up to, if not more, than a Curious Thunder Crash. So hunters have a very solid damage option now for any sort of DPS phase in the game. At number 4, we have Shinobu's Vow. This is an exotic that I'm so glad got a buff because Skip Grenades was one of my favorite builds back in Witch Queen, and finally they're really good again. As now, hitting enemies with a Skip Grenade grants you Bolt Charge, and not only that, Bolt Charge grants you Skip Grenade energy. So basically you have this very nice loop where your grenade grants you what you need to get more grenade energy. It's such a fun loop now, and with all the artifact perks we have in the game, Bolt Charge is very powerful, and that makes this exotic very powerful as well. At number 3, we have Speedloader Slacks. This is, not to sugarcoat it, the best hunter exotic in the entire game, and I do not mean that as a joke. I quite literally mean this is the best hunter exotic in the entire game. If you pair this with an area denial grenade launcher, you can get your dodge back in like 2 seconds. And every single subclass in the game has some sort of dodge related aspect. So Winter Shroud, Crack Shot, things like the Prismatic Ascension with the clone. There's just so many different builds you can make with this one exotic, and out of any exotic that I recommend you try in this video, this is the one. At number 2, we've got the tried and true Celestial Nighthawk. This is just an exotic that will not be going anywhere anytime soon. With things like Sniper's Meditation back in the game, Celestial Nighthawk is back on the table with Still Hunt. It's already a very good pairing, and it got even better with the final update. There was no major change to this exotic or Still Hunt. It's just always been a very good combination. Just like how I mentioned for Blade Barrage, it's a very good DPS option. This is the same exact thing, just for any sort of boss that has a precision hit box. That's really it. You can run either or, Blade Barrage or Celestial Nighthawk, and you'll have major success in endgame content. And at number 1, we've got Lucky Pants. Don't let the nerf distract you from the fact that this exotic is still incredibly good, it just isn't as good for boss DPS. You still have many different options. You can run this with any hand cannon in the game and find mild success. It's still a very good build. I know that many people are probably gutted that they nerfed it, but it's still tons of fun. And even after the nerf, it's still probably one of Hunter's best builds just for general mobbing because of how strong you can make your hand cannons. Not to mention, Uncivil Discourse is still quite literally in the game. It may not be doing boss DPS and soloing the Witness anymore, but still the best hand cannon in the game for Lucky Pants, even after the nerf. At number 5, no secret, Getaway Artist. This is just the strongest Warlock exotic in the entire game. It's not even close. It enables such dumb builds, like the Prismatic Buddy build, which just plays the game for you. If you do not know about this build yet, get in the know, because it's just that good. At number 4, we've got Geomax Stabilizers. This is probably one of the easiest Arc Warlock builds in the entire game. You just pair this with the Lumino Potent Armor set. Just pick up Ionic Traces, gain super energy, and use your Chaos Reach as much as possible. It's one of the easiest builds out there, up there with the Getaway Artist Warlock build. It just isn't as free, because you actually have to work a little bit more for those Ionic Traces. At number 3, Vesper of Radius. This is honestly my top pick for my favorite Warlock build in the entire game. Essentially, just drop a Rift and blind everything around you if you're using an Arc Super. This works on Prismatic, but I think it's better on Arc because Arc Souls and Ionic Sentry work incredibly well together with this build. If you go ahead and take any armor set bonus with any sort of damage resistance, you've created a very powerful build. Vesper of Radius is tons of fun, and it's my favorite build in the entire game. At number 2, we've got the Boots of the Assembler. This is my pick for the best support Warlock build in the entire game, and yes, I know Speaker Sights does exist. I just find the utility of granting your teammates a 35% damage buff to be even more important than healing, because this effect will help you in any sort of DPS scenario. Boots of the Assembler is my pick for any sort of raiding content because of that damage buff, especially since you can also grant that buff during a Will of Radiance. And finally, at number 1, Nothing Manacles. For you Void Warlocks out there who think this thing is bad now because they nerfed it, you are incredibly wrong. It's still a very powerful exotic. Essentially, the entire build revolves around just throwing as many grenades as possible and getting as many grenades as possible. Nothing Manacles has been a powerful build for such a long time now, and it's still incredibly good. At number 5, we have Blast Wave Striders. This is just one of those exotics that everybody has been saying is terrible for such a long time, but with a final update, it got a giant buff. And that buff was so sizable, it's one of the best Titan exotics in the game now, and I'm not even kidding. Go try this on a pure Stasis Titan with Howl of the Storm, and I promise you will have so much fun. This has been probably my favorite build of the final season so far. Titan really got some good stuff going, and this has been such a fun exotic to be using. At number 4, we have Peregrine Greaves. Now, if I remember correctly, all shoulder charge melees did get a 100% increase in damage with the final update. I don't know if that does stack with Peregrine Greaves, but I don't think it matters because you should be one-shotting champions anyways. I have been farming a lot of lost sectors, and this has been my go-to exotic for lost sectors because it doesn't matter what champions are in there, I can just one-shot them with my knee. It's such a fun build, it's always been fun to one-shot champions, and it's still very good in the final update, so I strongly suggest trying it. You can't do a top 5 Titan video without at least mentioning Curious at the Falling Star. Any sort of rating content, this is what I'll be using. It just makes your Thunder Crash deal more damage, and getting any sort of melee final blow gives you some more super energy. It's a tried and true staple. You just can't have a list like this without mentioning it at least once. At number 2, we have no backup plans. This also did get a change in the final update of D2, where now what it does is it extends any sort of defensive buff. So Void Overshields, Amplified Restoration, Frost Armor, or Woven Mail, all these buffs get extended by getting a shotgun or a melee kill. And if you're a Titan, you're going to be in their face real often, and you're also going to be getting a lot of melee kills. This has been such a fun exotic to use, especially on Prismatic, because you can get multiple of those defensive buffs at a time. Having Amplified, Overshield, and Restoration all at the same time, and getting kills and having it all extend per kill is tons of fun. It's an exotic that I think might be going a little bit under the radar at the moment, and I strongly suggest trying it, especially with Slayer's Fang, because that shotgun is tons of fun to use. And at number 1, this is probably my favorite exotic just in general at the moment on Titan, and that's going to be Kefri's Horn. Kefri's Horn is an exotic that was, for the better half of its lifetime, was always terrible, but once they gave it those scorching waves in front of it and the sunspots, it became an S tier exotic. It's tons of fun with a Praxic Blade, tons of fun with a brand new Barricade Aspect, Shield Burst, and I've been having tons of fun with this on both Prismatic and Pure Solar Titan.